So this is not a political debate. This is a spiritual battle. There's no other conclusion.
Ever since America turned its back on God, there have been forces, demonic forces that have been unleashed here in America. And whenever there is a country that turns its back on God, that rejects the truths found in the Word of God, then demonic activity starts to take hold. And you see that primarily when it comes to the attitudes that the culture and the country has towards children. And what it is child sacrifice. And one of the people made keenly aware to this is none other than Tucker Carlson.
The minimum wage killed jobs, I guess. That's what my side said. And I think that's probably true. And the other side would say, but people need more money to live, and so we're going to mandate that they make this much. And it was I was on one side of it, but I could also sort of see the other side. Both sides were at least pretending to try to improve the lives of the people who voted for them. But when you wind up in an election where the two top ballot initiatives are, one, encouraging people to kill their own kids, and two, encourage their kids to do drugs, who's benefiting here? I'm serious. The one unalloyed source of joy in your life is your children. The point of life is to have children and to watch them have grandchildren. Nothing will bring you joy like that will. Nothing comes close. Nothing comes close. Would you trade your job for your children?
Unfortunately, some people will in this society. Some people will trade their jobs. They will trade their future. They will trade their progeny. They will trade everything for the fact to get more money. And the Bible talks about that. People will be lovers of pleasure instead of lovers of God. They will love themselves. They will love themselves to the point to where they would sacrifice their future, sacrifice the legacy that they could leave behind through their children for instant gratification and quick pleasures. People do that all the time.
Would you trade anything for your children? Of course not. And so anyone telling you don't have children, kill your children, is not your friend, is your enemy.
That's the truth. And it's a spirit that will tell somebody to do that. A spirit that is not of God will tell you to sacrifice your children on the altar of pleasure. Think about that.
And by the way, it's a very recognizable promise that they're making you because it's as old as time and it's chronicled in great detail throughout the Hebrew Bible. It's human sacrifice, which rears its head about every 4 chapters. And which is singled out for approbation every time. Of all the sins the ancients committed, that sin, every single time it's described, is called detestable, at least in the RSV. Detestable. God singled that out. Throw your children into the fire. Now, why were people doing that? Because, of course, they believed they were getting power and contentment and happiness in return. All it's going to take is to sacrifice your children. This is as old as time. Every civilization on the face of the earth has engaged in it. Every one, not just the Mayans and the Aztecs, but the Scandinavians, my people. No, it's true. Even the Swedes did it. I know, it's embarrassing. But the archaeological record tells us that human sacrifice, the sacrifice of children, the killing of children, is the one constant in human civilization. Now, you answer the question, how can that be?
I can answer your question, Tucker, because after the fall of man, man ceded the authority that God had given to mankind through Adam to the devil. And the devil, based upon Genesis 3, the devil will be at enmity against the seed of the woman. The devil has done his best to snuff out the seed of the woman. Why else do you think that every culture on the face of the earth has given in to child sacrifice? Where do you think that idea comes from?
How did all these civilizations at different points of the compass that we know had no contact with one another reach the same conclusion that an exchange is one constant in human civilization? Now, you answer the question, how can that be? How did all these civilizations at different points of the compass that we know had no contact with one another reach the same conclusion that in exchange for killing their own children, they would be happy or safe? Probably not a conclusion they reached organically, right? It cuts against the imperative of evolutionary biology, which is to continue the species. And those of us who grew up in a secular world being taught that people are motivated by instinct designed to continue the species, pause at that and say, wait a second, how does killing your own children advance the cause of perpetuating the species? It doesn't. In fact, it's an attack on that. So it's not a natural human function to want to kill your own children, actually.
No, it's not. And that's how you know it's spiritual. That's how you know it's demonic.
That's an idea, an impulse that was introduced.
It was introduced through the fall. That's when it was introduced.
Outside forces are acting on people at all times throughout history in every culture on the planet to convince people that if they sacrifice their children, they will be happy and safe. And that's exactly what this is. This is a religious right. This is not a policy debate. They're not telling you that some girl got raped at 13 and she needs to go to college and therefore, unfortunately, we need to abort the child. No, that was 20 years ago. Now they're saying abortion is itself a pathway to joy. Really? So this is not a political debate. This is a spiritual battle. There's no other conclusion.
Yes, it is. It is a spiritual battle. And as soon as conservatives who don't want to get involved with cultural issues recognize that fact, the sooner they can make a difference, because we need everybody. You need biblical conservatives. You need fiscal conservatives. You need conservatives who are not too concerned when it comes to things that they call cultural wars to be involved with this, because this is a spiritual battle. The people that believe this stuff, the far left, they are religious zealots. Their religion is pleasure. Their religion is humanism. Their religion is the worship of self. And so they will do whatever it takes to glorify self, whether it's killing babies or whether it's sacrificing marriage, whatever it takes to ensure that the pleasure of self is gratified, they will do it. And they will make every single person a victim. It's true authoritarianism, but it's based upon secular humanism. They want to make every single person a victim. And so until people recognize that fact and realize that, then we'll continue to spiral downward as a country and as a society, because we're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.